What's going on there, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Craftavore Tastes, and today we are digging into two beers from Captain Lawrence Brewing Company out of Elmsford, New York. These beers are actually a follow-up or the second year of their collaboration with Carvel Ice Cream. Yeah, if you grew up in the New York, New Jersey area and you know of Carvel Ice Cream and you know that last year they collaborated and produced Fudgy the beer, which was just kind of a simple American stout. That was brewed with Carvel ice cream and Carvel kind of like chocolate, like little crunchies and stuff like that. And obviously was a homage to Carvel's famous ice cream chocolate cake Fudgy the Whale. You would know there was only one way that they could go in this second year. So yes, of course, none other than Cookie Puss. All right, so Cookie Puss. It's actually probably Carvel's second most favorite or famous cakes. And they're basically usually kind of given for birthdays. And I'll give you one. We'll take a look at the can right there. It basically is like a face where the nose of Cookie Puss was an ice cream cone. All right, so a little bit of nostalgia there for anybody that grew up kind of in the tri-state area, New York, New Jersey, and kind of has a little bit of a love affair with growing up as a kid with Carvel like I do. And so Captain Lawrence this year actually put out two Cookie Puss beers. So first one here is just called Cookie Puss Birthday Beer, and limited edition and a smooth vanilla collaboration with Carvel. Yeah, so basically what it says, it's a malt beverage brewed with natural and artificial flavors and artificial color. Artificially colored with beta carotene. So a lot of artificial going on in there. Anyway, so 7.5% ABV, and this is a milkshake IPA. So yeah, milkshake New England style IPA, meant to obviously mimic kind of the vanilla kind of Cookie Puss. Second one they did, it's called Cookie Opus, and obviously from the look of the beer and obviously the name, they went ahead and brewed this one in celebration of St. Patrick's Day. All right, so this one is a rich chocolate collaboration with Carvel, of course. Malt beverage brewed with natural and artificial flavors and artificial color. This guy coming in at 8% ABV. And yeah, so it is utilizing Carvel's signature chocolate crunchies, fudge, and ice cream. Looks like this guy is obviously just kind of a simple, maybe perhaps, either American or maybe even just given the St. Patrick's Day, maybe even a dry Irish stout. All right, so let's go ahead and dive both into these guys. I figured combine a review, right? And just kind of pop a top on each of these guys and we'll see how they go. All right, so I'm gonna actually just pop a top here on the Cookie Puss birthday beer and actually pour this guy out first. And then we'll go ahead and do the exact same thing with the Cookie Opus. All right, so next, Cookie Opus. All right, and obviously we're gonna get straight into the drill. As always, take a look at the appearance, get the aroma, taste it, and then of course, we are going to rate these guys. All right. Obviously already the Cookie Opus producing a bit more head. That's fine. We'll set that guy up. All right, so how do they look, man? Obviously, let's start off with just the Cookie Puss birthday beer. So milkshake IPA. Yeah, it's kind of, medium light gold color. It's got a bit of kind of haze going on there, but it's not like kind of crazy hazy in what you would expect kind of more from a milkshake IPA perspective. It's definitely kind of a bit more toned down from a haziness perspective. Looks perfectly fine. Had kind of dissipated pretty quickly, but it's hanging around there, maybe just a little bit of the itchy smidge. Larger kind of style bubbles. Looks all right. So let's go ahead and give an aroma. Okay, so in the nose, I'm getting kind of like the vanilla note comes through, but it comes through in a little bit more of like a confectioner's sugar kind of way. Like there's definitely kind of just an overall sense of sweetness to the beer. I'm assuming they brewed this with lactose, obviously being a milkshake IPA. So yeah, it's kind of got a little bit of that kind of confectioner's sugar, kind of vanilla sweetness, just in terms of the overall aroma. In terms of hops, like there's just really nothing discernible kind of coming out of the nose here for me. Yeah, it just kind of smells a little bit bland and a little bit kind of one-noted with just like a bit of confectioner's vanilla-y sugar kind of lingering out on the top. All right, so before we get a taste, let's go ahead and actually get an aroma on the cookie opus. Now, what's interesting is that head kind of, if you could just take a look at that, there's these huge kind of like disintegrating kind of bubbles. And I remember last year reviewing Fudgy the Beer, and the head kind of receded in almost the same kind of way, where it's just these really huge kind of like soapy bubbles that just basically dissipate really super quick. And so I guess what I'm thinking is, because both beers were obviously brewed with Carvel ice cream, is that's obviously a byproduct of brewing with ice cream, or the additives that they had added into the beer, whether that's the chocolate crunchies. But one would assume that obviously it's something like the ice cream that really just kills that kind of head retention. All right, so aroma on the cookie opus. Okay, so yeah, so similar kind of the Cookie Puss birthday beer. Just an overall kind of note of chocolate, right? Like there's really nothing discernible in terms of it. Like I'm not getting a tremendous amount of coffee. I'm really not kind of getting anything else other than that, than just basically, chocolatey kind of overtones coming out of it. Perhaps maybe like a little bit of like fudge. Yeah, maybe a little cocoa. But the base is just kind of like your kind of traditional, like dry Irish stout. Like there's really nothing that's truly leaping out of the glass. So both of them are kind of similar in that way. They smell like what they say on the can, but they're kind of one-noted, right? So sugary vanilla confectioner's sugar, chocolatey cocoa kind of like fudginess coming out of that guy. All right, so let's go in and get a taste of the Cookie Puss birthday beer. Cheers. Oh. Oof. I do not like that at all. Oh my god. So in the taste, yeah, what can I say? There's a part of me that like doesn't almost feel that even remotely comes close to a milkshake IPA, or it doesn't even kind of taste like an IPA at all. You know what it kind of tastes like? It tastes like a vanilla-y golden ale, or perhaps maybe kind of like a sugary blonde ale. That's a really, really, really weird beer. Yeah, it just kind of comes across as a bit more of a bland, kind of nondescript, sugary and vanilla-y confectionery blonde ale. I'm really not even getting any kind of form of hops out of there. Oh, and the sweetness that kind of layers in. Perhaps maybe there's a little bit of like tropical fruitiness, but in the form of like candied kind of tropical fruits. And when you kind of mix a bit of that vanilla kind of with it, it does not really, really work out too much. Yeah, not loving the Cookie Puss birthday beer. So let's go ahead and give the Cookie Opus a go. Cheers. It's a bit better. So, yeah, in the overall taste, it's just kind of your simple kind of, right, regular kind of brewed stout. A little bit of chocolatiness, a little bit of fudge going on there. Very kind of similar in the nose. But just in terms of just the overall kind of taste, again, the beer doesn't go much further than that. It's just a simple kind of, easy kind of to brew stout with some kind of, chocolate additions there, and perhaps obviously brewed with some ice cream there to kind of rise it a little bit more to the top. But, at the end of the day, it's truthfully nothing, honestly, to write home about. All right, so, yeah, and there's actually a little bit of kind of lingering bitterness on the back of the Cookie Opus. It's actually not sitting all that well. It's not hot bitterness or anything like that. It's just a kind of bittery, almost like, I don't know, if like you were to chew like a piece of like a cocoa nib or something like that, where like it's just kind of overtly bitter there in kind of the wrong ways. That beer's got a lot of that. Okay. All right, so rating time. Yeah, so the Captain Lawrence Brewing Company Cookie Puss birthday beer and Cookie Opus beer for St. Patrick's Day. Oh my God. Sorry. Year 2 of the collaboration with Carvel. Okay, so here's pretty much what I think. Both of these are below average beers. All right, straight up out of the gate, neither of them are very good. I would honestly say both of them are probably 3.25s. There's part of me that wants me to give this a 3 caps, but I'll be a little bit kind. 3.25 caps for both of them. And here's kind of what I feel regarding this. It's a fun collaboration. If you grew up in the area, it's built on nostalgia. I dig it. I love it. It's cool. I picked these beers up because of just that exact fact. It helps you get a little bit excited. It reminds you of when you were a kid. And so it's a fun kind of thing to do. Unfortunately, for the second year in a row, the beers really kind of haven't been anything spectacular. And so they kind of come across as kind of bland, kind of generic, and kind of simple, which in reality, these Carvel-inspired or these Carvel collaborations have gotten a lot of mainstream attention here in the tri-state area. And so they're kind of being brewed for a bit more of a mass audience, and it comes across that way. I just kind of feel that even though where Fudgy the Beer was pretty much a simple kind of stout, and Cookie Opus kind of is, they really missed with that birthday beer because the milkshake IPA thing just does not work whatsoever. And I almost kind of felt that the Cookie Opus was even more of a step down from what they brewed last year for Fudgy the Beer. So, sorry, Captain Lawrence. Yeah, so that'll do it for this episode. 3.25 caps for both of these guys. Not my favorites. We'll see what they do next year, if they can kind of continue on with the collaboration, and hopefully maybe they can kind of brew something that's, a little bit better. All right, so that'll do it for this episode of the Craftavore Taste. I'll hope you join me again for another episode where I drink, I review, I rate, and then I repeat. Cheers, guys.